You wake up in the middle of the night, your eyes opening without any external reason, and the first thing you see is the glowing digits on your clock, 3:33 a.m. You turn over, dismissing it as nothing more than chance, but later that afternoon, when you casually check your phone, the time reads exactly 3:33 p.m. You laugh, shake your head, and push it to the back of your mind, but the number follows you. You walk into a store, grab a drink, and when the cashier hands you the receipt, there it is again, $3.33. A fleeting chill runs down your spine, a quiet whisper in your mind telling you that this is more than just an odd alignment of numbers. You take a deep breath and try to forget about it, but just as you step outside, someone calls your name, and when you turn around, you see a familiar face, a friend you haven't spoken to in years, someone you were just thinking about yesterday but had no logical reason to expect to see. You feel a strange sensation, an invisible thread pulling at your consciousness, something deep inside you recognizing that this is not random. But your rational mind steps in, telling you that it's all just a coincidence, and so you brush it off and you move on. We live in a world that conditions us to believe everything follows a logical, mechanical structure. We are taught that life is a series of unrelated events, that time moves forward in a straight line, that numbers on a clock or unexpected encounters are nothing more than the accidental intersections of probability. But if that were true, why do certain symbols, numbers, and experiences seem to repeat themselves with uncanny precision at the most crucial moments of our lives? Why do synchronicities seem to increase when we are at a crossroads, when we are searching for answers, when we are on the verge of transformation? Why do they seem to happen right when we need them most? The average person moves through life ignoring these strange alignments, dismissing them as chance, but deep down, you already know the truth. You've felt it, you've seen it, and once you truly recognize it, you can never go back to believing in randomness again. To understand synchronicities, you must first destroy the illusion of randomness. Nothing in your life has ever been random. Every meeting, every heartbreak, every opportunity, and every setback has been part of a larger pattern, a web of interconnected energy that you are constantly interacting with, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether synchronicities exist, the question is whether you are aware of them. Think about the most life-altering moments in your past, the people who entered your life at just the right time, and the books, songs, or quotes that reached you at the exact moment you needed them most. The decisions that seemed small at the time, but ended up shaping everything. Were these just accidents? Or were they precisely placed markers guiding you towards something greater?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Imagine a monk deep in the Himalayan mountains, removed from the distractions of modern life, sitting in silence for 12 hours a day, observing his thoughts and feeling the rhythm of his breath, watching the subtle ways in which the universe moves through him. One day, as he walks through a remote village, he looks up to see an eagle soaring high above him. At that exact moment, an elder from the village approaches him and says, "You will fly soon." He does not yet understand the meaning of these words, but he holds them in his mind. A week later, an opportunity arises, an invitation to leave everything behind and teach in a distant land, a chance to step into an unknown future. He remembers the eagle. He remembers the words of the elder. And in that moment he knows this was not a coincidence. This was a message. Now, take a moment to reflect, to truly examine your own life. How many times have you received a message like this, but ignored it? How often has the universe nudged you through repeated numbers, through recurring themes, through unexpected encounters only for you to dismiss it as mere chance? Synchronicities are not just signs, they are calls to action. They are the universe's way of saying, pay attention, something is unfolding. But most people don't listen. They see the signs, but they hesitate. They feel the pull, but they resist. And so, the universe stops sending them messages, because the truth is, synchronicities are not given freely, they are earned. The more you listen, the more you trust, the more you act on these signs, the more they appear. The less you listen, the less they come. It's a dialogue. The universe speaks, and if you respond, it speaks louder. But if you ignore it, it falls silent. So ask yourself, right now in this very moment, are you truly listening? Or are you still doubting? Because doubt is the killer of synchronicities. Doubt is what causes the door to close. If you want synchronicities to flood into your life, you must believe before you see. You must trust the invisible before it becomes visible. And when you do, that is when reality bends. That is when time itself rearranges to align with your awareness. Let's put this to the test. Right now, think of a specific number, the first number that comes into your mind. Hold it there. Over the next 24 hours, watch how that number begins to appear in your reality, on receipts, on clocks, in conversations, in places you would never expect. This is not magic. This is not superstition. This is perception alignment. The number was always there, but now you are tuned into it. And this is the key to understanding synchronicities. They have always been there. You just weren't paying attention. But let's go deeper. What if every single event in your life, every heartbreak, every success, every failure was leading you to this exact moment? What if nothing was ever random? What if every loss was not an accident, but a necessary clearing of space for something greater? And what if every rejection was not a punishment, but protection? What if every coincidence was actually a carefully placed piece of a larger design that you cannot yet fully see? This is the power of synchronicity. It is the realization that your life is not happening to you, your life is happening for you. And once you understand this, you stop resisting, you stop forcing, you stop fighting against the current of your own existence. But instead, you trust. And when you trust, the most unbelievable things begin to happen. The right people appear. The perfect opportunities unfold. The answers you've been searching for arrive effortlessly. Not because you are chasing them, but because you are aligned with them. This is where most people fail. They try to control everything. They resist the flow. They push against the current instead of allowing themselves to move with it. But you are waking up now, and once you wake up, you cannot go back to sleep. The question is, now that you see the pattern, now that you recognize the signs, what are you going to do with them? Because if synchronicities are real, if this reality is speaking to you, then what is it trying to tell you right now? What message has been repeating in your life over and over again, waiting for you to finally listen? Because the universe never stops speaking. It is always guiding, always whispering. But only those who are truly awake hear it. And now, in this very moment, you are beginning to hear it loud and clear. If you are still watching, it means something inside you has already awakened. You are no longer just casually observing the patterns in your life, you are beginning to feel them. The numbers, the symbols, the recurring moments are no longer coincidences to you, they are messages. And now, the real question is, What are you going to do with this awareness? Because once you truly understand synchronicities, you realize they are not just something that happens to you, they are something you can engage with. They are something you can amplify. They are something you can use to shape your reality. Most people live life on autopilot. They wake up, they go to work, they scroll through their phones, they repeat the same conversations, they think the same thoughts, and then they go to sleep, only to do it all over again. They are trapped in a loop, and because they never break the loop, they never see beyond it. They never notice the deeper patterns at play. But the moment you begin to wake up, the moment you start paying attention, everything changes. The world around you shifts. You start seeing the numbers repeating more often. You start meeting people at just the right time. You start thinking of something and then, almost instantly, it appears in your life. And for the first time, you realize that reality is not as rigid as you once believed. It is responsive, but it is intelligent. It is alive. But here's something that most people don't understand. Synchronicities are not just signs, but they are signals. They are indicators that you are in alignment with something greater than yourself. And the more you align, the more they appear. This is why people who experience synchronicities often say that once they started noticing them, they began happening more and more frequently. But it's not because the universe suddenly decided to send more signs, it's because they finally started listening. And when you listen, the universe speaks louder. So now, let's go even deeper. If synchronicities are real, if they are messages from the universe, then how do we interpret them? How do we know what they mean? And more importantly, how do we act on them? The first thing you must understand is that synchronicities are deeply personal, but they are tailored specifically for you. This is why the same numbers, symbols, or encounters can mean completely different things to different people. A person who keeps seeing the number 1111 might interpret it as a sign of new beginnings, while someone else might see it as confirmation that they are on the right path. The meaning is not universal, it is unique to you. And this is where most people get stuck. They see the signs, but they don't know what to do with them. They recognize the pattern, but they don't know how to decode it. So let me give you a simple yet powerful method for understanding the synchronicities in your own life. The next time you experience a synchronicity, whether it's a repeating number, an unexpected encounter, or a strange alignment of events, pause. Do not dismiss it. Do not brush it off. Instead, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what was I thinking about at the moment this synchronicity appeared? This is crucial because synchronicities often appear as confirmations. They show up right when you are contemplating something important, as if the universe is saying, yes, pay attention to this. If you were thinking about making a big decision, if you were reflecting on a certain person, if you were questioning your path, and then a synchronicity appeared that is not an accident. It is a direct response. Second, what emotions did I feel when I noticed the synchronicity? Your emotional reaction is a clue. If the synchronicity made you feel excited, uplifted, or filled with a deep sense of knowing, then it is likely a positive sign, a green light from the universe. But if it made you feel unsettled, anxious, or uneasy, then it may be a warning. The universe does not only communicate through encouragement, it also communicates through caution. But third, what action can I take right now based on this synchronicity? This is where most people fail. They see the signs, they acknowledge the patterns, but then they do nothing. And this is why their synchronicities eventually fade. Because the universe rewards action. If you see a sign, you must respond. If you feel a pull, you must follow it. Synchronicities are not just there to make you feel good, they are there to guide you. But if you do not act, the guidance stops. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful. What if you could create synchronicities? What if instead of just noticing them, you could actually attract them? This is where the real magic happens. Because synchronicities are not just something you passively observe, they are something you can actively engage with. And the way you do this is through intention and awareness. Let me explain. Reality is not static. It is fluid. It responds to your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy. This is why people who are deeply focused on something tend to see more synchronicities related to that thing. It's because their attention is acting as a magnet. When you set a clear intention and then move through the world with heightened awareness, synchronicities begin to appear with incredible speed. The key is to be specific. If you want to test this, try this simple experiment. Right now, choose a specific symbol. It could be an animal, a word, a number, anything that is meaningful to you. Hold it in your mind. Set the intention that you will see this symbol within the next 48 hours. Then let it go. Do not obsess over it. Simply move through your life as you normally would, but with an open awareness. And watch what happens. If you truly set the intention and remain open, you will see it. It will appear in a book, in a conversation, on a billboard, in a dream. And when it does, you will realize that synchronicities are not just random, they are responsive. And this is where everything changes. Because once you understand that reality itself is responding to you, you stop feeling like a passive observer in your own life. You stop waiting for things to happen, and you start co-creating with the universe. You start moving with intention. You start making choices with awareness. And the more you do this, the more synchronicities appear, confirming that you are on the right path. But let me warn you, once you begin to engage with synchronicities at this level, your life will never be the same, because you will start to see things that others cannot. You will begin to recognize patterns that most people are blind to. And the deeper you go, the more you will realize that nothing in your life has ever been random. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every unexpected twist has been leading you here, to this moment, to this awareness, to this realization that you are not just moving through reality, you are shaping it. So now I ask you again, are you truly listening? Because if you are, then something inside you has already shifted. You are already seeing the patterns more clearly. And now, the only question that remains is, what will you do with this knowledge? Because the universe is speaking to you. It always has been. But now, for the first time, you are speaking back. And the moment you do that, the moment you engage, the moment you take action, everything changes. At this point, something inside you has shifted. You no longer see synchronicities as random, fleeting moments of coincidence. You recognize them for what they truly are: messages, confirmations, and invitations from the universe. You have begun to listen, to notice, to engage. But now comes the most important part: trust. Because awareness alone is not enough. Understanding synchronicities is meaningless if you do not act upon them. And this is where most people fail. They see the signs, they acknowledge the patterns, but then they hesitate. They doubt. They fear the unknown. And in doing so, They break the flow. The universe can only guide you if you are willing to move when it calls you. If you resist, if you second guess, if you demand more proof before taking action, you block the very guidance you are asking for. Think about it. How many times in your life have you felt a strong intuitive pull towards something, only to talk yourself out of it? How many times have you received a clear sign, only to ignore it because it didn't make logical sense? How many times has the universe whispered to you, only for you to silence it with doubt? And what happened when you ignored those signs? Did you find yourself stuck? Did you watch opportunities slip away? Did you later realize, with painful clarity, that you should have listened? Because this is the truth. Synchronicities are not just there to amuse you or make you feel special. They are there to guide you toward your highest path. But if you do not trust them, if you do not act on them, they will stop appearing. Not as a punishment, but because there is no point in sending guidance to someone who refuses to follow it. So now, the real question is, do you trust the signs you are receiving? Because if you do not trust them, you are wasting them. Every synchronicity you experience is an invitation to move, to make a decision, and to take a leap. And the more you act in alignment with these signs, the more powerful they become. The universe rewards those who listen. This is why some people experience synchronicities constantly while others barely notice them. It is not that the universe favors one person over another, it is that some people are actively participating in the conversation, while others are ignoring it. So how do you develop unshakable trust in synchronicities? How do you reach a level where you no longer question them, where you no longer hesitate, where you move with absolute certainty when the universe speaks to you? The answer is simple, yet profound. You must surrender. You must let go of control. You must release the need for certainty before you act. This is the hardest thing for most people to do, because from the moment we are born, we are conditioned to seek security, to demand guarantees, to only move when we can see the entire path laid out in front of us. But synchronicities do not work that way. They do not give you the full picture. They do not reveal the entire journey. They only give you the next step. And if you do not take that step, you will never see what comes after it. Think of synchronicities like a trail of stepping stones across a vast ocean, but each stone represents a moment of alignment, a sign, a nudge from the universe. But here's the catch: you cannot see the entire path when you are standing on the shore. You can only see the first stone, and the only way to reveal the next stone is to step onto the first one. And then, and only then, does the next stone appear, and then the next, and then the next. But if you refuse to step onto the first stone because you are afraid, because you want to see the entire path before you commit, then you will remain stuck on the shore forever, wondering why your life is not moving forward. This is why trust is everything. This is why those who experience the most synchronicities, those who seem to live in a state of effortless flow, are the ones who have learned to move without hesitation. They do not wait for logical explanations. They do not demand certainty. They recognize the signs and they act instantly, without fear, without doubt. And as a result, the universe moves through them with incredible speed, aligning people, opportunities, and experiences in ways that seem impossible to those who are still trapped in hesitation. So now I ask you, are you ready to trust? Because if you are, then you must make a decision right now. Never again will you ignore the signs. Never again will you hesitate when synchronicities appear. Never again will you demand to see the entire path before you take the first step. From this moment forward, you will move with total trust. And when you do, something extraordinary will happen. Synchronicities will begin to appear with overwhelming frequency. You will feel as if the entire universe is conspiring in your favor. You will be led to the right people, the right places, the right opportunities with effortless precision. And the more you trust, the more powerful it becomes. But let me give you one final truth. Synchronicities are not just about receiving signs. At the highest level of understanding, you realize that you are not just noticing synchronicities. In reality, you are actually creating them. Because once you fully align with the universe, once you move with total trust, once you surrender completely to the flow, you reach a state where reality bends around you. You think of someone and they call you. You set an intention and it manifests almost instantly. You walk into a situation and it unfolds exactly as you envisioned. At this level, you understand that you are not just a passive observer of synchronicities, you are a co-creator of them. And this is where everything changes. Because now, you no longer feel like life is happening to you. You realize that life is happening through you. Reality is no longer something you react to, it is something you shape. And once you reach this level, you can never go back to how you used to live. Because you have seen the truth. You have felt the connection. You have experienced the flow. And now you know that everything in your life has been leading to this moment. Every challenge, every delay, every loss, every unexpected turn, it was all part of the design. But it was all guiding you to this awareness. So now, the only thing left to do is act. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more hesitating. You have received the signs. You have felt the truth. And now you must move, because the universe is waiting. It always has been. And now, finally, you are ready.